Adam, I'll start with you there. I mean, that's another Labor state that's signed up to Gonski funding. But what happens if they can't get Queensland, Victoria, WA to sign up?
Oh, look, I'm sure there'll be some agreement reached where those states get some money and others don't. But the more general principle here is that this is a monumental waste of money in my view. I mean, I absolutely guarantee you there'll be no improvement in the quality of education of students. This is about parties of the left funneling more money to highly unionised sectors, both in this case the state school system, but in other cases the university sector as well. I mean, education spending in this country has been increasing every year about 6.5% since the Second World War, and at the same time results have been going in the other direction. I mean, the idea that it is money that actually improves standards is completely absurd. I mean, the education systems that thrash us are in Asia, and they have much less money.
Right, Kate, I'm going to have to bring you in there. A monumental waste of money is what Adam says.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the universities, for example, that's the announcement we did today. They've been chronically underfunded for a couple of decades. It's all some of
what
the
does underfunded mean? I mean, half the staff
of what it's about, for example, is student-to-staff ratio, right? So in 1990, the student-to-staff ratio at universities was 12.7. 20 years later, it's 20.7, so a 60% increase in student-to-staff ratios. We are at the bottom of the OECD nations in terms of our universities. I mean, that's crazy. We've got the government talking about Gonski and how important education is. Meanwhile, they're cutting $2.3 billion out of universities.
Let's talk about high schools, though, here. The student-to-class ratio at the turn of the last century was about 60 kids, and the standards then were much higher than they are now, when they're much, much lower. In fact, it's Andrew Lee, I think, the former professor, has done a study that shows that class sizes since 1964 have fallen by 1/3, and over the same time standards have also fallen really dramatically. So there is no evidence that smaller classes improve standards. Absolutely no evidence.
If it's
well,
not
it's
money,
it's obviously discipline. It's obviously things that aren't financial. It's obviously involvement. Well, of course it's discipline. I mean, discipline in this country and the West has entirely collapsed. Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. It's a massive cultural problem. You can't fix it with money.
Tory Maguire, you're going to accept that? You're going to accept that it is just a matter of discipline, that the funding that's been outlined in Gonski is not going to make any difference, and that if we bring back discipline, we'll increase the standards. I don't think that Adam just said that we want to count people. I'm sure he didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that.
But he's making a very strong point there, that it's about discipline. It's not about money and funding and better teachers. Do you agree with that?
No, I think that maybe discipline...
It is about better teachers.
Discipline has a place. I think it's better teachers, and we would have better teachers if they had better quality teaching at university where they learnt their teacher's degree.
It's the fault of the teachers' unions that basically prevent the better teachers from being paid more and the worst teachers from being sacked.
So you agree that funding for teachers, that is something that you would support?
A maths teacher earns exactly the same as a junior primary school teacher. I mean, it's absurd. There's a massive shortage of maths and science teachers and an enormous surplus of primary school teachers, right? But the market just is not allowed to work in this case, and so it's a complete disaster.
Also, the teachers' union have been asking for higher wages for teachers, obviously.
Yeah, but they won't take a reduction. But they won't take a reduction for the other teachers.
Yeah. But they argue against performance-based pay, though.
Yeah,
they do.
They don't like any of that. And, you can make their case that, you can't tell, what's a good teacher. I mean, you can't tell what's a good journalist.
So you're saying that Barry O'Farrell, for example, should not have signed up to Gonski?
No, definitely should have. But, I mean, states are always in a difficult position because, well, I mean, he shouldn't have, at least in my view, but I can understand why he has, because state governments, they don't have the revenue levers of their own. So basically they have to take whatever they're given by the feds.